This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So yesterday we saw how to create, not to, I mean, not create, but how to add a view, isn't it? How to add a view, and then how to um, add your database to the settings, okay? And then how to create a table in it, right? So we created table using class in models. Then we did make migration, which will create the migration files here. And then we said migrate. Okay, migrate will push this migration files to the database, right? So this is what we created. Okay, so what I'll do now is I will create one more table. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, I want to create one more table in it. So I'll go to models. Okay, so I have class questions. I'll add one more class here, and I will call it as choice. Okay, and so it will be models dot model, right? And here we will add our columns, right? So let's say we put uh, questions. Okay, so we'll add question, and I'm going to call this as uh, model. Okay, so we will connect this to your the question table. So we'll create a foreign key here. So how to create a foreign key? So I'm going to say models dot foreign key. Okay. Sorry. So this means this is going to be linked to another table, right? In bracket, I will put the table name here. So questions, and what happens on delete? So on delete, okay, models dot cascade. So if you delete the original question, here also it will get deleted. That's what cascade means. So if question is deleted here, here also it will get deleted. Okay. So yeah, I've added question here. Then I'm going to say choice text. So we'll add a choice text from drop down. So this is another column. So I'm going to say models dot character. Okay. And let's say we give max length same as what we gave earlier. So, okay. And then we're going to count votes. Okay. So how many votes? So this will be integer field. Okay. And we'll start with 0 vote. By default, every question will have a 0 vote. Okay. So I have created this. So what is the next step? What should I do?
Sir, now you do Python manage.py migrate
Make migration.
and make migration. Yes.
I have to do make migration. Yes. So Python manage .py make migrations space the app name. Okay. Let's see what happens. So it created 002, right? So 001 we already have it. It created, if you refresh, you get 002. Okay. So now here you see it added this one. ID choice, it added ID primary key by itself. Okay, it added, isn't it? So it added 002. It did not update the same file. Okay, it will never ever update the same file. Okay, the reason is, okay, when because it means that you have already run that code on the database. Okay, manually you have to, let's say if you are doing from scratch, let's say for some reason you are dropping the database and creating a new database, then you have to manually delete this. Only if you delete it, it will check what has been done before. It will find no files, it will create a new file. Otherwise it will only do the difference, it will only do the difference. Okay, so for example, I did make migrations here. Now let's say I go here, okay, to the initial, okay, and okay, we'll do it later, okay, because I don't want to mess with this thing. So let's say, okay, what I was showing you, let's say, I go here to our models and we want to change the data type. Now let's say by mistake I gave char field, it should be integer field, let's say. If I make an integer field, it will create a update command, because when you create a table in the database, okay, and if you want to change the data type, okay, data type, we have to do alter, right? Update is to change the existing value, but alter is to change the shape or type of the columns in a table. So if I change it to integer field, it will create 003, okay, and that will have alter command. Okay, we'll do it once we are done developing this app. We will go back and we will make those changes here. Okay, okay, so we have created this choice. Now we have to do we created a migration. Now we have to do the migrate. Okay, you can even choose each file for migration. So how will I choose? So I say, okay, I'll say SQL migrate, okay, polls 0002. I can simply say migrate polls. It will know which file it has to do, but you can also do something like this 002, right? Okay, so see, this is the actual SQL command. Create table, poll choice, integer, auto increment, isn't it? This is exactly the SQL query, isn't it? Exact SQL query. It'll tell you the exact SQL query. Okay, so our Python code is now converted into SQL query. Now how to push? You simply say migrate. SQL migrate will migrate to SQL, right? Migrate will push it to the database. In fact, migrate will do both, SQL migrate as well. Okay, so here you see migrate 1 was already done, right? So it says apply all migrations, already done. What? Admin, auth, content type, sessions, these are internal apps and polls, because 001 we have already done. So that's why it's saying these things are already migrated. And our 002 underscore choice was not done. So it has now been migrated. Okay, so this has we have added one more table to the database. Just like yesterday, if you want to go to the shell, you can go to the shell and you can run the query. Okay, we have already done that yesterday. Okay, so database is created. Okay, um, okay. Now we need to call this when we uh, when we uh, when we call from view. Okay, this needs to be called, right? So what we do is, okay, we will add a function here. This is the class. We'll add a function. Okay, so function underscore underscore str underscore is an inbuilt function which will return the text, right? So if you call this text, it should return self dot, let's say, question text. Okay, so if somebody calls any uh, uh, text, okay, the question text should be called. Similarly, I can create a function here also, and I'll call this as choice text. Okay, so let's say, okay, so in fact, we will be using only these two columns. Okay, that's why I created this. Okay, in the UI, okay, um, okay, we will call only these two values. Okay, so information will be stored in database with two tables, but when we call, I will call only choice text and question text. Okay, so if question text is where are you going, I'm going home. Okay, that would be your solution, right? So questions you are storing in one table, and solution answers you are storing in another table. Okay, so okay, any new functions, okay, or for example, if you want to perform anything, okay, all the logic on the database side should be added here. Okay, so let's say here I want to add one more logic. Okay, um, okay, so I want to check, okay, which was published. Okay, so you have a date, right? You have a date here, isn't it? So I want to check what all questions was is added in last one day. Okay, so I'm going to call, I'm going to define a function to return questions added in last one day. Okay, so this is nothing, I mean, this is like your Python code only. Okay, this is nothing to do with Django. Okay, Django will only tell you where to add. Okay, so Django says, okay, you want to do that, add it in the models within this class, right? So this class will have second function. Okay, I'm going to call it as was, let's say, was published recently, something. Okay, and here I'm going to say return, okay, if the DOB date, okay, self dot DOB date, okay, is greater than, -1, then yes, it was published recently, otherwise no, right? So here I'm using comparative operator, isn't it? I'm comparing, is this DOB date greater than now -1, right? So if now date is 5th March 8:55 a.m. -1. So if that is greater than to now -4, that means it was created in last 24 hours, isn't it? So it should return true. Otherwise, if it is beyond 24 hours, it will say false. Okay, so I'm creating one small function here. So how to find this? I'm going to say time zone. So we need to import time zone. So we need to go back here. We'll say from Django utils. Django utils will give us all the utility things. Okay, so Django dot utils has the time. Import time zone. Okay, and here I go and I say time zone dot now minus date time dot time delta, right? Time delta day is equal to 1. So you are doing last one day. The current time minus time delta for one day. Okay, so this will give us true or false. Okay, so we added this in the models.py. Okay, so our model
Time
is
delta mean?
time delta will give you the difference between the time. Okay, so it will give us the it will give you the time difference. Okay, so so here this is like x minus y. Okay, so this is x, okay, and minus y is your y is time delta, so it gives us the time delta, and days equal to 1 means 1 day, right? So today's time minus 1 day. If I say days equal to 15. So today's date minus 15 days. Okay, so time delta function is used to find the difference between time. Okay, yes. If
Yes,
I
sir.
answer, if you ask a question, you say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so what I have done, I have added some logic, okay, which I will use it later. Okay, so this function will just return me true or false if the question that added was created within last Monday. Okay, that's the definition of recently listed. Okay, so I've added something in the view, I've added something in the models, right? So I'll stop here. Now we'll go and what we'll do is we will see how to create admin module. So remember, okay, when you go to my polls settings, okay, so installed app, this is what we created manually, right? This is what we have done yesterday and today, right? All these are inbuilt created. So these are created, but we have not used it so far. Okay, so let's try to use the admin one now. So to create admin, okay, we need to create a super user first. Okay, so to create super user, we say Python space manage.py. Okay, all the command that we execute on Django is through manage.py only, right? That's the use of manage.py. Settings, we add all the settings. Manage.py is to execute all our commands. So I'm going to say Python manage.py space create super user. When you create a data, we can create super user more than one, but at least one has to be there, right? Without super user, we can't access the admin module, isn't it? So Python manage.py creates super user. Okay, now I hit enter to see. Username, by default, it has taken my Windows username. Okay, so if you want to change it, you change it. Otherwise, I'll say hit enter. Okay, that means I want to use SA WPN. Email address, it needs email address because if you have to reset the password, right? How will you reset the password? So it needs email address. So please give valid email address. Okay, you can give invalid also, doesn't matter. But then if you have to change your password, okay, it will not be able to send password at your correct email address, right? If you forgot your password. So let's say I give my password. Okay, email address, password. um, you can give your password. Okay, so I'm going to give 1234567 8. I'm telling out so that in case I forget, you guys remind me. I have said 1234567 8. Again, 1234567 8. Okay, so this password is entirely numeric. Bypass password validity. Okay, so validation, it has to have capital, small, blah blah nothing, right? Do you want to use it? I'll say yes. Okay, create user anyway. I'll say yes. Okay, so it will create user super user with ID SAWPN with call Swapnil at gmail.com email and password 1234567 8. Right, super user created. Okay, now how do you run server?
Manage.py run server.
Run server. Yes, yes. Okay, so if I say polls, it will access polls. If I say admin, it will access admin for me, right? Sorry guys, I got cold yesterday. Okay, so let's say I copy this 127. Okay, um, yeah. So let's say I go here, and if I say polls, it will give me the default view, right? Welcome to my website, right? Now, if I say admin, we did not create admin app, but what we're doing is we are using inbuilt admin. Now, if you want to create, okay, so admin UI is already created by Django framework. Okay, look and feel, all those things are already created. Okay, if you do not want to use default one, if you want to use your own admin details, so just like we created polls, you have to create a admin thing, and you know, from the settings you remove the reference to the default admin and give reference to your admin app, isn't it? So you can create an admin app and you can use it, or you can create inbuilt admin app. Okay, so I've created super user SAWPN, right? And password are 1234567 8. Okay, login. So see, all these things we did not create. It is already provided to us by the admin app. Okay, so it has groups and users. Okay, if you click on users, you can create a new user from here. Okay, so see, this is the super user which I have created, isn't it? Okay, you can create your own. Okay, user, you can add, delete. So see here, add user here, right? Username ABCD, password ABCD, ABCD. Okay, please correct the password. Okay, we have to follow these practices, right? Cannot be too similar, cannot must contain 8 characters. Okay, all this code has been already added. That's another advantage of Django framework. Most of the common things like managing session is again common thing, right? When somebody logs in, you have to manage the session. Admin module, okay? These are all common things. So instead of you doing it from scratch, you can use you can use inbuilt apps of Django to use it. Okay, so your website is already up and running, isn't it? Okay, so here you see, here it has all the default ones, right? It has its own default ones. So you have groups and users. I want the the questions that we created, right? We created this database, right? Table and column. I want that to be also managed by admin. So admin is creating user and groups, which are very common. You can add your own stuff also to it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to admin page. Okay. Where is admin? You see here, admin page is here. Okay. And I'm going to add. Okay. I'm going to add our question to it. Think that question has to be managed through admin. So I'm going to say from dot models. Okay. Import question. Okay, so this will have no access to the question, and I'm going to say admin dot site dot register questions. That's it. Okay, so you see it has this comment, right? Register your models here. I have registered my model here. Okay, server is up and running. I go here and I refresh. Yeah, you see this? Questions double S. Where did I give double S? Why is giving double S here? Wait, it should be an admin only. Admin site register questions, right? Okay, so yeah, so it added questions from its side. Okay, so see here, we just created the class. Okay, and we said register. This is your app name. Okay, and we simply said what? Admin.site.register question, and it added. Okay, so yeah, I mean it added as saying that it has multiple questions here. Now when I click here, see, you want to add a question, you can click add a question here. Okay, so see, question had what? Two columns, remember? Question, text, and date. So when you click on questions, so when we created this question table, isn't it? So when we created this question table, it has text and date, isn't it? So see, it has got text and date for us. Automatically, it has added these two columns because we said date, it is giving us date option. We said text, so it's giving us text option here. Yes.
Which question I put here, that's save in database also.
It's taken from database. It is taken from because we added to the database, right?
Okay, sir.
So admin will not connect to your UI. Admin will connect to or you know, if you simply add to, if you simply add to, one second, let me close it down. If you simply create the class in model, it will not read. Admin is reading from the database. Okay, so that's why we did SQL migrate. Okay, so now you saw question text. What's your name? And if you want, you can say today. If you see, you want to say no. So it will take. Now, see the time. Is it now time?
This is, sir, America time,
This is
UTC.
America time. Why? If you go
Because
to settings here, okay, app. Sorry, the settings will always be in project. So if you go come here, you see down. Okay, time zone is UTC. So we have given UTC time zone. So it is taking the UTC time zone. Okay, UTC time zone is not America time zone. UTC time zone is GMT. Okay, UK time zone. So by default, when you install Django, it will read as UTC time zone.
we can change from here to our time zone.
Yes, you can change to our time zone. Okay. So what is our time zone? Our time zone.
GMT
No. So we can say Asia. Okay. Slash.
Kolkata.
Okay. So we yes. Kolkata. I think Bombay is also there. Like all the metros are there. Okay. So Asia slash Kolkata. Okay. Now where did it? Here we go. And let's say we go to home. We have not added, right? Did we save? I don't think we saved. Okay. We will refresh it. Sometimes when it doesn't refresh, right? You stop the server and start again. Okay. If it doesn't refresh, okay, zero questions, we did not add. So we go and we add what is your name, right? And today and now, see, it has taken the Kolkata time. Yes. Let's say I save and add another, save and continue editing, save. See, all these options are added by default. right? Okay, where are you going? Let's say, and date we enter is today is 5th, right? Let's enter 2nd. And time we enter now. See, isn't it so cool? Minimum effort, maximum output, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, great. So now what we're going to do is, any questions so far?
Sir, then in Django, insert query is not required.
Insert query. See, if see, I'm telling you. See, okay, this what you see here is already given to us by inbuilt app. Okay, but if you want to create your own stuff, you can customize it, isn't it? Okay, for example, when I add questions here, okay, I want one more button here, right? And if you click this button, it should do insert. Then you have to add your own code. You get it?
Yes, sir.
I want to add one more button here, and let's say that also do insert or update or whatever, right? So then you have to add your own. Okay, 70% depending upon what your objective is, it is already done. It is doing insert, update, everything, and these things you will see in the admin module, which is inbuilt. But if you want to customize, you can also customize it. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have seen how admin work, how database works, right? We haven't created any UI as such. Okay, so this is from admin part. Okay, from backend you are adding the questions. Now what we'll do is from front end we will see how users will be able to do it. Okay, so this is from backend. Admin will access will be there only with your organization. Let's say you are developing a website where you want users to enter their details, right? Then of course we have to do it on views. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do now is we will create four web pages. Okay. We'll create index where you will display the latest questions from the database. We'll have details. Okay. We'll tell you details of the question, results, and page to give vote to a question. Let's say if you want to give votes to a particular question, you can give votes. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Okay. So views, right? So I have to go to views. Index is already there. Let's say I want to add three more, right? So index. Okay. Now we'll add details. Okay. We'll add results. We'll add vote. Okay. Now you see, index is just index. Okay, it doesn't need any input. But when you want to do the details, you need the question ID. So which question ID you want to see the details, right? So it will also need one parameter. It will need one parameter. Okay. So I'm going to give go to models. Okay, not models. Let's go to this initial. Right? This ID is created automatically, right? Because it has to manage the primary key thing, right? So we will use this ID to keep track of question. So let's say I go to view, right? Okay. So I will pass question ID to this. Okay. So because these web pages need question, specific question. Which question ID you want to look for? Details. You can give customized message here. Something like fetching details for question. Okay. Question, and I can give ID. So question, and here string, right? So you give, sorry, not comma, full stop, dot. What did I do? No full stop also. Okay. This percentage. Okay. Percentage will replace percentage, right? Question ID. Okay. Similarly, okay. So here you want to display this. Here, results, right? I'll say results for okay. So some question, okay, and vote. You are voting for okay. Okay. So question ID will represent. I'm going to link this to the ID here. I'm going to link this to the ID here. Did you get it, Abhinav? So from the front end, from the view, I'm going to take the question ID, and from back end, I'm going to match that ID with this ID and get the details. Okay, we'll fetch different details for different views, right? For results, we will display the question. For vote, we will take the vote count, right? Like that. And for results, we will display how many votes have been given to that question. How many votes have been given to the question? Okay. So here user can vote, right? So you will get a voting option. Here it will display how many votes a question has got, and this will display the number of votes. Okay, no details, right? This will display the question details, right? Date created and things like that. Okay, so we have added 4 views. Okay, now when you add views, what is the next step that we have to perform?
So check in browser and start search.
Sorry.
Nothing, sir. Nothing.
So once you create the view, you have to update the URL, right? You have to update the URL saying that you have created a new view. Okay, so the URL of what? Settings or app?
App, sir.
Yes. Okay, first app and then settings, but settings have already linked. We have already said that. So let's me go and show you to settings. So my poll set URLs. We have already said that polls will have polls.urls. Okay, so this part is already done. Now we have to add, keep on adding to polls.urls. Okay, here. Okay, so we have to add here, right? So what I'm going to do, we have 3 views, right? So I'm going to Control C, Control V, V, V. Okay. Okay. Now here it is details, right? We okay. Then we did results, right? Then we did vote, right? Now what we want, okay, so which view? Details view, right? Which view? Results view. Which view? Vote view, right? These things are done. Okay. Now when we don't give anything, index should be called. This should be called when? When we have results. Okay. No, sorry, this is details, right? Okay. Now simply vote is not enough because vote needs ID. Okay, so when you go to view, right, it needs, along with request, it needs ID. Okay, so ID needs to be in the URL only. Okay, so ID needs to be in the URL only. So I come here, okay, and let me copy this. Okay, in Django, this is how you give a variable name. This is how it knows that, oh, I need to replace, this is variable, this is not a text. Okay, and you can give here. It needs question number. So 1/details, 2/, that's how it is going to fetch the question number, then go to the database, check, and display the output. So we are giving a variable, we have to give it in the angular bracket. So it knows that, okay, whatever you're giving in angular bracket needs to be replaced. Okay, it's a variable and needs to be replaced. Okay, right? So this is done, but this is not yet done. Okay, we also need to give the data type here. It is integer type, so int colon. Like I say, the first app is only to make you comfortable with different files. Okay, second app is where we will, second app that we develop, that's where we will do a lot more stuff. Okay, we'll do design and things like that. First, for now, let's focus on what are different files, where we add what, why those files are used. Okay, okay, so okay, so let's go and see this. I come here and I say polls, index is called, and if I say 1/results, right? See, results for question number 1. Okay, we are not displaying. The question number 1 is already picked. This 1 is taken here. Okay, if I say details, so heading is, so we need to add more code to it. Okay, so we have to display, right? It is just the header that we have added. So did you get it? You can directly say poll slash question number slash whatever you want to do, details or yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now in in index okay, let's try to add place to, okay, okay, so I'm just thinking we need to, okay, create connection to the database. Okay, so what we'll do is we will take the latest question, okay, and we'll display on index. Let's see, let's do that. Okay, so we go to views and index here, right? So in index, I'm going to talk about question list, something like this, equal to, okay, we need to add question module here, right? Because the question says in models, right? So I'm going to say from dot models. Okay, why am I using dot model? So model, if you can have multiple apps, isn't it? When I say dot models, it means that I want to use it from the existing app only. I want to get the data from existing app only, not from any other app. So dot models means in the current model, sorry, current app, the model which is in the current app.
Means sir,
Okay.
same folder views and same folder
Yeah,
model.
same folder wherever this is there. If I had one more say app, I can use that app models also. It has to be in the same project. Okay. So I want questions which is in the same app, right? So that's why I said dot model. That don't look for anywhere else. Look it in the current app only. Yes. Now I'm going to call this. So I'm going to say questions dot of. Okay. So it should be objects dot order by. Okay, I want to get to the order. So I'm going to say order by, and what is the column? Column name is DOB date, isn't it? So I'm going to say order by DOB date. Okay. So this is it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say text something equal to. I want to add all the questions together by comma. Question one, comma question two, comma question three, so on together. So I will use this function of string called join. Okay. Dot model, not model. Dot model. Dot represents current app. Dot represents current app. In current app, you have models, right? So you can have multiple models, right? So in this case, when I say dot means whenever you see dot, dot means current folder, current app, current wherever you are in that folder structure. That's what dot means. Models means we have models here, isn't it? So this model is getting fetched. From this model, we need questions. That's why we are importing only questions. We are not importing the other class, the choice text. We are only importing the question class. Okay, so join. Now here I'm going to pass this as a list. Okay, so join. I'm going to say q dot question text for q in question list. Okay, so this should be it, and here I'm going to pass text here. Okay, now when I go to, we made changes in the index file, right? So see, did you get this? Where are you going, comma, what is your name? Okay, so where are you going was the latest which we added. So the latest is coming first because we said order by. We said order by, right? So it is picking the latest one first. But let's say you want to put reverse order. So you say minus. Okay, when you say minus, now you go back and you should see what's your name first. Oops, did it? No, yeah, see, it took some time to refresh. See what is the name came first. So the first one which we added came first. So that's what order by means. Order by, okay, which is the latest or which is the oldest.
Sir,
Now
in
let's say,
Django,
uh-huh,
ASC or DSC not work?
if you're,
In Django, ASC ascending or DSC?
no, this is Python thing, right? So yes, so this is how you use order by.
Okay, sir.
Minus means
From the last.
from the last, okay, descending, okay, no, sorry, ascending, and without that it will be descending. You see, DOB is the date, isn't it? It's not integer or a text. You have declared DOB date as a date type, right? So in date type, okay, you're descending. Descending means what? Latest is coming first, and then the oldest, older, and the oldest is last. See, if it was a text, it would pick A first, B second, then C, so on to Z. If it was number, you would have taken one first, two first, isn't it? And minus
Yes.
means reverse order. Okay, and these are all Python properties. Okay, these are not your what do you call Django thing. This is how we do in Python.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is okay. Now let's say you have multiple um, data. Let's say so right now we have only two, right? But when you start doing it, you might end up getting 100, 200 questions. Okay. But let's say you want only one question to appear. Okay, of course, because you have two, just to demonstrate that you get only one. But you can say 5, 10. So it will pick the first 1 or 5, whatever number you give. There's an error here. Okay. So no, 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 no. So what does error say? Okay, I think I got it wrong here. What is error saying here? Can you read the error? Questions object is not iterable. Okay.
Iterable means, sir?
Iterable means you can't do indexing. Okay. We are trying to do indexing, right? We are saying get me only 1 or get me only 3, right? So I'm doing indexing there,
Okay.
right? So it's saying that you cannot do indexing, right?
Yes, sir.
So what could be the error there?
Views.py line number 8. Type error.
This is not iterable,
Yes, sir.
but question numbers needs to be iterable. So we say from 0 to 1. Okay, so you have to give like this. So when I say, okay, 0 to 1, so we discussed that in Python indexing starts from 0. So we are saying 0, and this ending number is up to. So 0 colon 1 means only pick only 0th value in the question. Now we are talking about question text. Now you go and refresh. It will take some time. No, wait. Yeah, you see this? So since I said 0 colon 1, it's picking only one value. So this is how you can limit the number of questions that are appearing on your screen. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we still have 15 minutes. I'm going to talk about one more concept before we end the day. Tomorrow we will not have session. Tomorrow I have got my other things. Okay, busy. So we can practice all these things. Okay, tomorrow. So let me talk about T. We have discussed M and V. What is M and what is V?
Models and views.
Uh-huh. And what is T?
Templates, sir.
Template. Right. So let's talk about what is template. Okay. So we need to create a template file. Right. So go to tools. Tools does not have any folder. We'll see later how to add static and things like that. Like, okay. So static means you're adding static files like pictures, videos, right? Right now I'm going to add a template. Template means it's a generic template and all the other files should use that template. Okay. So I'm going to create a folder called, I'm going to create a directory folder and I'm going to call it as templates. Okay. In the template, I'm going to create another folder called with the same, okay, app name. So this is how you can actually see why I'm creating this template. Okay, I could have created without folder. I can create it here itself, but it is not a good practice. You have to, structure your files properly. Okay, so that tomorrow it becomes easy. You see, right now we are only 5, 6 files, but as you keep on working, you might end up creating lots of files. Okay, so it's always better that you give some logical name so that after 1 year also when you revisit this you will know, okay, templates has to be in template folder. Inside that I'm creating the app name, so all the templates related to polls I'm going to put it here. Okay, and inside this I'll create something called as uh, index.html. Okay, so I'm not HTML file, I'm not depending on the view which is provided to me. Okay, so instead I'm going to override with the HTML. Okay, so I'm going to say index.html. Okay, so see, by default, the HTML template is created to us, right? But since it's a template, okay, I'm going to delete the default content. I'm going to add my own content. Okay, I'm going to add my own content. Okay, so what else things should I add? Okay, so here again you have to learn few things. Okay, look at the syntax which I'm giving. We use Python syntax only. Okay, we use Python syntax, but the way we provide is little different. Okay, so any command that you want to give has to be in curly bracket and percentage. So I'm writing a if condition. So I have to say curly bracket percentage, okay, percentage curly bracket. Inside this, I'm going to write my condition. So I'm going to write if value is there, okay, in the view I've added this, right? So let's say if question list is there, okay, if question list is passed, then perform this, else don't perform. If question list is passed, okay, everything after this will be part of if. Okay, if I want to stop this if, I will have to say percentage, sorry, bracket percentage bracket, and here I'll say end if. See, this is Python code, isn't it? If question list, that means if it is true, right? If it is true, perform this, okay, and you say end if. Okay, programming code. And all these syntaxes you give it. So mainly you will be using two things, okay? Double curly bracket or curly bracket percentage. Okay, so today we'll see only curly bracket percentage. So if question list is true, if it is present, then our logic should come here. Okay, I want to display the output, okay, the questions that we saw, right, 1 and 2, in a bulleted format. I want to display in a bulleted format. Okay, we call it ordered or unordered list, right? Ordered list is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1 dot 2 dot. Unordered list is, you have those
Bullets.
bullets. Yes. So to do that, the HTML code is UL, isn't it?
Sir, in here indentation is not required.
Indentation is not required. Okay, but you follow your HTML indentation. Okay, this is HTML file, right? So it is always, because it's a HTML file.
Yes.
Okay, so indentation not required, but it is good to have indentation. Okay, so that it's easy to read. Okay, so we added this UL. Here inside this question should be printed. Okay, now how do I print? Okay, I have to do the iteration, I have to do the for loop. So the question list which is there, that I will pass it to this index.html, and we will go through the iteration. We will go through the for loop to display this thing. So just like we did if, we have to do for loop also. Bracket percentage bracket. And here I'm going to say for Q in question list. Okay, first of all, question list is not empty. If it has some value, you should do it. You can have an else also. Let's say, let's do this else here. If it is else, we don't want to put bulleted, right? So here we say else. And inside this, we will say, okay, we will put H1, we will put italics, We can make it bold, whatever, right? It's all your HTML code. Okay. Sorry, no polls are available right now. Okay, so this is else. Okay, so if value is true, perform this, else print this, and end if. Okay, now I'm going to add a for loop. So for Q in question list, for Q in question list. Okay, and okay, then display this, right? So for will have a ending for, right? So you say here curly bracket percentage curly bracket. Okay, mostly you'll be using if for, right? So for here you will say and for, indicating as. So between this UL, you are iterating through the list and putting it here. Yes. Okay. So this is good. Now inside this, okay, I will say li. Okay, li is your sub list, right? And here I'm going to display the text. Now, if I say hello, it will display hello, but we don't want, okay, let's do with display hello and see what happens. Okay, so we'll say hello. Now we'll go back to views and we have to make the changes here so that views is able to throw the information to index.html, isn't it? So for that we need loader. Okay, so it is, so so the loader will load the Django template. So I'm going to say from Django dot template import loader. Okay, okay. Now what we'll do here is, this is fine. Okay, let's add a 2 here. Let's display both the questions. Okay, this is it. Now after reading, okay, we'll not display, we will load it to the template. Okay, so I'm going to say temp or something equal to your loader dot get template. So I want to load the template. I'm saying this index should use this particular template. Okay, you can create single template and the single template can be loaded by multiple file, right? Multiple views will load the same template. I told you on day one, right, that website can have header footer. So header footer can put it in a template and every page will load the same template. Loader dot get template. Okay, what template? Okay, so it is already in templates. It understands. Inside this we have polls folder, and inside this polls folder you have index.html. So I'm saying load the templates which is inside polls and HTML index.html. Load this template. So this is how I'm able to load the template. Okay, now I need to pass the questions or the question list basically here. Okay, so instead of, I don't want to print it here, right? I want to send it to the template to print. I want template to print. So I can say text equal to, okay, and the text and the value. Text and the value. Okay, so what is the text here? Text here, okay, is question list. So whatever you give here has to be given here. So I'm passing this value and it's a dictionary. Okay, and what value should this text have? This should have this value. That's it. Okay, now we go here and along with, okay, so this return should have okay, should have two things. One, the request, okay, and before request, we need to pass this. Okay, I deleted the text, right? Okay, that's it. So the view is doing all the hard work and then sending the output to the template to print it. Printing, we are depending upon the view to do it. Okay, so now what happens when I go to our polls? What happens? Question list is printed here. Okay, question list is printed here. Okay, but one thing is for sure. What is for sure? Did I do this correctly? I'm not printing, I'm just returning, right? Text dot request. Okay, so this is good. No, we have to write template here. Right? So write template, loader.get template. So template will be loaded here. Okay. Now, okay, so to send here, okay, HTTP response is not enough. We need template render. So whatever you give here, this is the object, right? Get template, and you have to say template dot render. Okay, this is going to send it there, and then you give text and request. Okay, so we are rendering, okay, we are loading here and we are saying HTTP response render the HTML index.html. So you see this hello is appearing twice because the loop is running twice. So this question list is now getting passed to index. Any question you didn't understand what I did? In index, I'm not displaying. So what I'm doing, first line here, line number 8, here, I'm reading the data from the database. I'm storing in question list. Okay, I'm reading from database, storing in question list. Means the question list has both the questions, right? I gave two, so both the questions are here. Now loader get template is loading, is pointing to polls slash index.html. This is polls. Inside this, it is pointing us there. Now we have to get the output that needs to be sent there. So this output is what question list is the variable which will have the value dictionary, right? So this question list is ready, text is ready, text you can pass. See, we are sending dictionary because in this case we are passing only one value. But in the actual we can pass multiple values, right? If we have to pass 2-3 values, right? So using dictionary you can pass any number of values. Okay, so this is dictionary. Dictionary will have key value pair, isn't it? So this is the key and this is the value. Key is question list and value is coming from here. So this key has to map or match exactly to the variable you have in the template, because this is what we are going to use it in template. So this variable and the one that we mentioned in the template should match. Okay, so I'm passing the value to this, and this is being sent to the template using what is called template.render. Okay, so this is the object. This dot render will send both all the values here, which is text. Text is a dictionary, sent to the request. So this is done. So index is saying, okay, I have done all the hard work. I have got all the calculations and fetching the data. Everything is done. Now I'm giving it to you to display it. It's up to you how you display it. Okay, so this part is done. Now when we go to our template, okay, so it is reading if question list, yes, because it has some value, isn't it? It's not empty. Okay, now if I give empty here, let's say I don't give this. Okay, for let's say I create an empty dictionary, I don't pass this empty dictionary. Now what happens? It will print the else part. It should print the else part. Okay, if everything we have done correctly, it should print the else part. It takes some time to refresh. That's why sometimes. Okay, you see this? I'm not passing this variable. So when you go to index.html, question list is empty. This becomes false. So if it is false, it will go to the else part. Sorry, no polls are available right now. See, sorry, no polls are available right now. And this is the end. Yes. Now if I go here and if I give the value, okay, now this index, this is not empty. This has some value, so it will go into else. So else we are creating this bullet point and we are doing for loop, okay, which will run. So how many times this for loop will run? This for loop will run 2 times because it has 2 values. So I'm displaying hello. So it is printing hello 2 times. So that's why it's printing hello 2 times. Right? But I don't want hello. I want the questions. Right? So what I'll do is, okay, to print questions, okay, we need what? We need a variable to be displayed, and variables we display using double. I told you, right? Double bracket. So double bracket is used to represent variable. So for the variable, I'm going to say, okay, q dot, okay, q dot, and what is the column in table? It is question text, isn't it? So I'm going to say q dot question text. Now you go and you refresh. So what is your name? Where are you going? Okay, so see here, all your HTML and CSS knowledge you can apply here. And this is assignment for today. Okay, you add all the HTML and CSS knowledge. Okay, make it look as good as possible. Okay, so in template you can add your HTML and CSS code. It will look good. So this is how your question text is getting displayed here. Now I want to add a link to it. Okay, so if somebody clicks this, it should actually take them to a particular page, right? So to add a link, href link, we have to say a, right? Isn't it? So I'm going to say a href. Okay, so a href equal to, right? This is how we give a link, isn't it? Right? And it has to have a closing a also, right? Now what do I give here? Okay, what link should I give here? Okay, so I can say, okay, slash polls slash, okay, I want to give question number. So again, what I'll do is I will use question ID, question number. It's a variable, and I'm going to say q dot it is the ID, right? If you go to models, ID is represented as, so now it's not in models, it will find it in the migrations, right? In migrations, you see it says ID. So I go here and I say q dot ID. Now let's refresh and see. The ID and question both should be there. So see href, so it has created link. I click here, it says poll/1. Okay, /1 is not there. We have to give something, right? Slash vote or slash something. We'll do it tomorrow. Okay, when we meet next class. Okay, so we have seen today template as well. How template works. Today we have seen admin and template. Yes, admin is simple. Okay, so you just activate it, and if you want to add a app to it, you just register in the admin.py file. Okay, so if you say register, it will automatically add to the admin part. Okay, Then what we did, we created a template, and from the view, we are linking a particular view to a particular template. Okay, one view can be linked to only one template. I cannot say template.render to template. Each view has to be linked. So multiple views can be linked to one template, but one template cannot be linked to multiple views. Sorry. One template can be linked to multiple views. Multiple views can be linked to one template, but one view cannot be linked to multiple template. Correct? One view can be linked to only one template.
Sir, please open one time admin.py.
Admin.py. Here you are. Okay, admin.site.register and the question, the table name. Okay,
Okay, okay,
if
sir.
okay, so what I'll do is here I go and I add second one. What is the second one? Choice text, right? Choice. So I say choice. Now, okay, so choice, I have to call choice here, right? So now I go here and I say admin. You see, choices have come here. I go here and choice. I can add choice. Okay, choice has 3 columns, isn't it? Has 3 columns. Question, choice, text, and votes. Votes. The question is linked to the other. That's why see this also has happened because we have already linked as a foreign key.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what's your name? And I say Saurav, and let's say I give vote 10. Okay, I save it. Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any questions so far before we wrap up?
I have no question, sir.
Good. So we'll end it here for today. Please practice. Please practice. These are simple, okay? Not difficult stuff. Only thing they need to know is where to go and add what. That's why I'm going slow. Once you understand, the next project will go faster. Okay? Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next class. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.